everybody, Jim Edwards here, and welcome back to the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Edwards, along with my trusty co-host, podcast producer, Mr. Stu Smith. Welcome, Stu.
Hey, thanks, Jim.
I'm excited, Stu. I know that's hard to believe. I say that all the time, but there's some exciting things happening in the world of guaranteed response marketing and all things Jim, Stu, Susan, and everybody. And a lot of great things going on, man. The world headquarters is almost done. So I'm going to have cable in there hopefully in the next 3 weeks when they can fit me in.
Nice.
Going to get all the furniture organized, and then we're going to start doing some cool videos broadcasting from the world headquarters. We have a cool studio. Neat things happening. But today we're going to be talking about some lessons learned from the latest Funnel Hacking Live, but specifically lessons learned from the truck ride back from.
Those are always the
Live.
best. I get a lot of good thinking done when I'm stuck in a car.
So here's the thing I'm going to talk about. You all know that we've talked about the avatar over the, oh man, I got to get my, I messed up. I don't have my other thing. I digress for a second. Let me get this straight. I apologize. My technology can't keep up with my enthusiasm. Somebody's worried about me having a seizure. I'm good. I'll be seizure free. Okay, so I want to talk about a couple things, and I may end up taking over the full screen there, Mr. Stu, at some point, just so everybody can see. But one of the things that everybody talks about, and there were a bunch of people mentioning it at Funnel Hacking Live, we talk about it a lot, is the avatar. Now, Stu, what does avatar mean to you?
It is my ideal customer.
Okay. It is that's great. I mean, it's the representation of your ideal dream customer. All of their different psychographics and their fears and their just everything about them so that you know who you're talking to. And I believe that we do a wonderful job of talking about the avatar, teaching the avatar. We've done the Secrets of the Avatar 5-part training. We've done the Who is My Who. We've got the Avatar Wizard built into content marketing scripts, funnel scripts, traffic secret scripts, Film My Webinar scripts, all of those things. So, and Robert says, avatar, the complete picture of your dream customer. I like that. So it was interesting, though, one of the speakers at Funnel Hacking Live said something that I had never thought about before, because I've always said that when we're selling, when we are helping somebody, which ultimately we're all getting paid to help people go from where they are to where they want to be, we're either helping our past self or we're helping someone who's close to us now. So we're helping some version of our past self to get a result. So example, like, my For Sale Boner book was me helping my past self who needed to sell 2 houses and couldn't afford to pay the real estate commission. Good example of helping somebody who's close to us. The one that just sticks out for me, I was speaking or I put on a workshop over in the UK years ago and met a guy who had a membership site to help parents of autistic kids. Now it's morphed into helping parents of autistic adults, interestingly enough, because his kid grew up. So the problem is that that's your past self. I mean, for some of us, you're talking about half a century of past self. Which past self? And what made me really think was the speaker said, your best avatar is to help you 5 years ago. Now, where he got the 5 years from, I don't know. And I don't know that I 100% believe that it's just you 5 years ago. But when Susan and Dexter and I were about, 10 miles either close to the first Buc-ee's in Daytona Beach or 10 miles past it or whatever, somewhere between Bucky runs. Okay. Which, by the way, if you've never been to Bucky's, Bucky's is amazing. If you don't know what Bucky's is, next time you're on 95, Bucky's is just the best. So we started talking, and I was like, oh my God, which version of you're talking to is really important. And then I started thinking, and I'm summarizing 200 miles of driving. And then at the time also was having a negative reaction to some stuff. We were talking about high ticket offers and what some people offer and what some people don't offer. And, Dexter's always the voice of reason. And I said something and he said, well, you might want to think about. And the funny thing is, he starts doing his left hand like this. He's like, you might want to think about, which is always Dexter code for you're wrong, but I can't tell you you're wrong. So I'm going to try and convince you and make you think it's your idea. So this is kind of what came out of it. If you look at your past self, when you're looking at who you're going to sell to, there's actually multiple past selves. And I'm going to share with you my past selves, Stu Smith. And then we're going to talk about this, but I honestly believe that I am not special, meaning we all have a unique life that we've lived, but I also think that these phases that I'm about to go through are more universal than I initially thought, okay? And for me, it's interesting because I named all of these phases based on where I was living, which was interesting. So the first phase was Equitable Jim. And Equitable Jim was Jim first got out of college, full of desire, filled with energy, and like one of those colts that you see in the pasture that's like just bouncing around and just wants to run and do all this stuff. And it's like a little thoroughbred colt. And looking at that thing, if it's treated right, it could be a great racehorse. Or if it's treated wrong, it's going to end up with blinders on, pulling an old milk wagon and having what looks like a broken back. Okay.
Damn.
So that little colt is full of all possibility of desire and energy.
Good analogy.
So, yeah, I came up with that in the shower this morning.
Hey.
Thank you. But you think about that. But then the problem is that along there, I had no clue what I was doing. And I'm just going to read you off some characteristics, okay? Because, this literally, we were sitting there in the car and I wrote all of this stuff out, all of this while bouncing down the road in South Carolina. If you've ever seen the highways in South Carolina, dear Lord, they got potholes that could catch a damn caribou. So I'm just going to read off some characteristics. Doesn't know what he wants beyond vague generalities, standard stuff, money, more, nice car, cool house. Doesn't know exactly what he wants, but does know what he doesn't want. Needs to know, in my case, how to sell and persuade, selling stuff, selling products, others. Clueless but motivated. That was a great one. Doesn't know what good at, just feels burning desire to be, do, have more. Been told you're smart, but right now life's kicking you in the nuts. Everything feels like a blind alley. Try. World is leaving you behind. Everyone else is successful but you. All your self-worth comes from comparing yourself to others and their expectations, and you're falling short. Feel controlled by other people and suffer at the good opinion of others. So during that time, I had this up and down and up and down. And, I was coming off the high of graduating from college. Quitter got fired from 7 different jobs. Finally found my way in the mortgage business, and I was 23 years old, making $100,000 a year, which back in 1991
It's good money.
was damn good money back then. Okay, so then I got too big for my britches, thought I had it all under control, screwed it all up, And that's where we launch Trailer Park Gym, where Trailer Park Gym had it, tasted success, and lost it, and is worse off than he was. And so, even bigger desire. Okay, but the problem is that have tasted serious defeat. So I'm going to read you some of these. Huge desire, needs basic instruction, desperate, feels alone, lots of potential, but didn't have the right vehicle, needs a step-by-step plan, low self-esteem, questions abilities, struggles with confidence, some temporary success, several big failures, wanted validation and approval from others, hard worker, willing to dig in and get it done, needs direction and somebody to believe in him so that he can believe in himself, and is starting to say there's got to be more to life than this. So this guy needs direction, okay? But this guy down here, this guy just needs the big picture and an understanding and a roadmap. Okay? This guy needs specific instruction and a mentor. So now, once we've gone beyond that, I figured out some stuff and we got our website up and things are, and you guys tell me in the comments. I'm gonna take the big picture on this, okay?
Okay.
Just so everybody can see this. And you're still there, but you guys tell me if this is resonating with you at all, okay? So then the next one is we call Little White House Gym. And this is where I was able to see some success. I started tasting success. I went from bankrupt and living in a trailer park to I figured out a system to pay off the house. I figured out a system to be able to get results. So some success, still looking for validation, can deal with some failure now, has a system that works and is willing to do it over and over and over, needs a different kind of guidance. So this is more, coaching, needs coaching from someone who's at the next level. Building a business instead of just a job with no boss, seeing a need for a team, and ready to try new things, and has a bit of an income cushion. But the problem is that what he was doing was not scalable because it was still basically all me. So now we move into fourth gym, which is Waterhouse Gym, not to be confused with Waterboy Gym. Like, foosball is the devil's, Stu Smith. So Waterhouse Gym, this is where, has the validation, has the recognition, has what would be considered outrageous success by any of these other gyms, okay? So now we made it. We hit it, okay? And, crossroads, top of the mountain, where to next? Big time team building. There's more, but don't know how to get there. Have I peaked? Am I doing the right thing? It's not about the money, but money's not enough. And now we're learning how to juggle life. We're looking for balance, including the physical stuff. Because Waterhouse Gym was who found Stu Smith. And I had been struggling with it on my own, but I needed validation, Ben, and a different kind of guidance needed. Juggling life. Fitness is a must now. Worried about legacy and asking questions like, what's the point of all this? Want to serve, but don't know how. So it's almost like I got to the top of the mountain that I thought I was going to get to, like when I was 65 or 70. So now it's like I'm 50 years old, 52, whatever. Now what? You're smart, Jordan. Now, and I think this is the last gym. Originally, I called this Beach House Gym, which is where I am now, even though it's in my wife's basement. But I do have a world headquarters that just needs to get finished. But my buddy Dexter said, nope, it's not Beach House Gym, it's Lighthouse Gym. Which, by the way, I can see the lighthouse from my beach. I mean, the lighthouse right over there. And so now Lighthouse Gym is, all about scaling and lighting the way for others. It's about being a leader. It's about being the guy to guide others. But you know what? This guy is more willing to take a knee. This guy is more willing to be a servant and to be humble more than any of the other gyms. Now, here's a couple things, and I'd love for you and I, Stu, to have the two things I'd love for us to do is kind of summarize all of these with a couple of thoughts, like, characterized by who they are and what they need most. Would love to talk about that, just to kind of get more clarity because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run every single one of these gyms through the Avatar software because they're all different. Okay. That's number one. Number two, interestingly enough, and this was like where we had some serious therapy. And Susan, if you want to jump in with us too and comment, I'd be happy to have you jump in. You can nod your head or shake your head and say, leave me alone. And so, because Susan was right, I think Susan was driving and Dexter was instigating from the back. But we were having some negative reaction to some stuff, specifically about high ticket offers and how could somebody make a $40,000 offer to somebody? And there's no way it would be worth that and all these other things. And then when we did this, I realized something. We think, or at least I thought, that we left these identities behind, but we haven't. And these identities learned how to be safe in certain situations of understanding and fear and not knowing how to deal with something. And they pop up. It's not like schizophrenia or something, but this is this identity. So what I realized is that when I'm reacting negatively to something, it's because I'm not reacting like Lighthouse Gym. I'm reacting like Equitable Gym or Trailer Park Gym or Little White House Gym or Waterhouse Gym. That's what's going on. So when you feel yourself reacting negatively towards something that is working for somebody else, that is true for somebody else, that is in your conscious mind, you're like, I mean, I'd really like to do that, or but I don't see me doing that, or they're full of crap and it's bullshit and all this other stuff. Which past version of you is the one that's reacting? Because Lighthouse Gym wouldn't react like that to something. So that's number one. Number two, if you look at your product line, if I were to offer a $30,000 copywriter's inner circle, okay, which I have done, I'm going to sell that to this guy or this guy, maybe this guy. I'm not selling that to this guy. These guys aren't ready for that. Whereas an ebook on how to write ebooks, that's just an ebook with a track in it, is going to appeal big time to these two guys and maybe this guy. So if you look at your value ladder, if you look at your product lineup, you got to say, okay, which level of person am I targeting with this? Because you could have the perfect product for past you, but you're talking to the wrong version of past you. See, all of these are who I used to be and are still in here. But I got to check myself, number one, when I'm reacting to stuff and say, who's showing up here? You know, old school, like, you know, the old thing of you can take the trash out of the trailer, but you can't take the trailer out of the trash. You know, I could say that. You got to watch where you're stuck. So I'm going to stop there, and I would love to get y'all's feedback and thoughts on this, and Stu and Susan. And then what I'd like to do is make sure that we kind of summarize these, because I'd love to be able to summarize, you know, Waterhouse Gym wants this, is here, but wants this and needs this, that kind of thing. So reaction from either or both of you.
You want to go first, Susan?
You can go first, Stu.
Okay, thank you. I would say yes, we are a product of our past experiences for sure. And I like the way you did this. In fact, I do the same thing with multiple avatars, right? With, you know, people wanting different jobs within the military or law enforcement and firefighters and different age groups and things like that. So it's the exact same kind of process I use when I'm creating specific information for those groups, those past groups. But I think the biggest thing is that realizing what you just wrote up there is probably going to be the biggest tool of all. You know what I mean? Like personally having some internal awareness of what our experiences have been, and like you said, which ones reacting to this, which ones, you know, who are you talking to right now?
Right.
No, that's really good. I have found that, you know, sometimes the guys on the lower end of that ladder are often some of the biggest suckers for the higher end of the purchase, and they will outspend themselves to jump 5 different layers, right? And sometimes it works, but for the most people it's not. I mean, how many self-help programs does your buddy down the street have that, you know, is, you know, trying to make that million?
Right.
So I don't want to digress anymore into that, but, you know, kind of guide me as what you're looking for each level, and I'll try to help you fill in the blanks.
So Susan, any thoughts? You were
I think
there for
also
this epiphany.
having this variations of gym will help you on knowing when you create your products or your coaching or anything, who you are targeting. So that way there's not a level of frustration for you and for them, because if they're not ready, then they get frustrated because they're somewhere they shouldn't be yet. And then you get frustrated because they're not where they should be yet. Just so you can differentiate that out and cut down on that pain point.
Right. It's like what you're saying, Stu. I mean, if somebody got into your $700 a month thing and it's not right for them, it's frustrating for you because it's a lot more work for you to try and drag them kicking and screaming along the way. And it's frustrating for them because in some ways they can't even conceive of the things that you're trying to teach them. There's no frame of reference in order for them to be able to actively and accurately and effectively receive what you're trying to give them.
Absolutely. And there's no logical progression. You know,
right.
What you have done throughout all those stages is you have had a series of progressions. Now, you might have had some dips, like we talk about our hero's journey. Every one of these has its own little hero's journey, but that may be a neat little thing to add into your avatar, is the hero's journey in between each step.
And you know what? That's some scary stuff, dude.
Oh
But
yeah.
every one of these has its own hero's journey that led to the next step. Every one of these is a hero's journey where you reach the mountaintop and then realize you have to start all over again. That is some good stuff right there, man.
But
Because it's true.
It flows in because y'all have talked about this in the past, that life is a constant hero's journey. We're climbing up the Yodelator from Price is Right. He's basically going up the hill. Sorry, that's what came to mind.
That's
a good one.
Is it gonna stop? Oh my god! That was a great show, man. I'd stay home sick just to be able to watch Price is Right.
Oh yeah, that was. Yeah, absolutely.
So the what I'm looking for just is kind of like a little summary of that we could generalize so that everybody's like, hey, this isn't just Jim and his schizophrenic past. All right. But if you think about it, equitable Jim is wants and needs. Equitable Jim is, eager, cocky, all right, wants success, needs direction. And a mentor.
Anna has a question. So how do you know where how can your prospect know where they're at?
They probably don't know. So what you got to do is you use the story to resonate with them. You use your story to resonate with them. So it's again, you're not. This is gray. This isn't like you're going to have a like mile markers on the side of the highway. Only 12 miles till Buc-ee's. I can hold it. I promise. They flow one into the other, but you can pretty much know about where they are, and your story is what's going to resonate with them. And that's you're going to be able to communicate better with them. So, just talking to them, hey, are you ready for success? Are you ready to make this happen, but you just don't quite know what you're supposed to be doing? Do you just want somebody to just show you what to do and give you the step-by-step path to be able to get there? Have you tried a few things and nothing's quite worked out, but you know that if you just had the right path, you could run down it and make it happen? As opposed to up here, it's like, hey, have you experienced success in the past? You pretty much got money figured out. You got, you've got one or two areas in your life figured out, but now you realize, hey, life's about a whole lot more than just X, Y, Z. You got to balance it all if you want to have it all. So you can be a success in one area, but a failure in other areas, and your life's going to suck. So at this point, it's all about being able to have what you want in your marriage, in your physical body, in your spirituality, in your money, in your sense of accomplishment. And if that's what you're after, then that's what this is all about, whatever the product is. Okay. So now, like this guy right here, he's scared. He's scarred, but he still knows he's at a crossroads. I mean, I'm like channeling this guy. And I remember, I was scared, I was scarred, and I was at a crossroads. I could either choose to be successful or I could choose to just go get a job.
Yeah, but those are such deep emotions. That's why he sticks so long, because fear is the basis of our brain.
Sure. So, but still knows there's more. Okay. Little White House Jim's like, hey, I got some confidence now. I've got something that works. Now, the problem is you got something that works. And when you've known life with something that wasn't working, and now you've got something that works, now we're scared to try something new because I've already got something that's working. So it's all about managing risk. Waterhouse Gym now, hey man, this is about balance. This is about connection. And then finally, Lighthouse Gym, it's basically about legacy.
Yeah, but also I'm gonna argue that Waterhouse Gym, between the Little White House Gym and Waterhouse Gym, y'all almost lost John Eric. So you saw, okay, now is some time to take some risks. Yeah, we can manage risks, but we need to move forward, and there's more to life. I don't know how to put. Almost seeing somebody die, it changes perspective, and losing somebody changes perspective.
Absolutely, and that's the in between stuff too. This isn't it isn't like steps. This is more like a mountain, or switchbacks. It isn't just I'm at the next one. It's a mountain with I like that. It's a mountain with switchbacks as opposed to steps.
But that fits into the hero's journey, though.
It's also a grind too, and a certain willingness to work that side gig and see if you can make that side gig take you to that next level.
So absolutely. But it's interesting looking at this. That made me think. For some reason, I thought of that movie, Switchbacks Up a Mountain. As I got closer to the mountain, I was like, well, you never really finish climbing the mountain unless you want to retire and be that dorky dude. But it made me think of the movie about Marcus Luttrell when he said, we thought we were at the top of the mountain and we got to the mountain and realized there was another taller mountain behind it. In some ways, you're going to get to the top of this mountain and you're going to have to go back down and start over on another mountain. We're really, guys, listening. This is happening in real time. We're just this is like you're hanging out with the three of us around my fire pit, just kind of, talking. And I agree with you, Susan. And I think that's the in-between stuff, because that's the transition thing. Like what you said there, those things would happen with John and other stuff. In a lot of ways, those were the decision points that launched the transformation.
You need to turn this on to heroes' journeys. This needs to be like read the hero's journey.
Absolutely. Yeah, but you can't tell it all at once. I mean, that's why when you map this out, it's it's like a series. It can't be a single movie.
I'll tell you something, Jim. That Little White House Gym is a very comfortable place.
I could have stayed there.
For many, it's a very comfortable place that I could probably tell you that, I was at least a decade in that one.
Yeah.
Right. And then I was like, oh, then I met Jim Edwards. And I actually, changed my next level, because of some internal awareness that made me realize, I can make some changes that, can really take it up a notch.
We can play bigger.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The people that you're around are going to make you play bigger, smaller, or stay the same. And so, you being around me inspired you to play a little bit bigger. Me being around people like Russell Brunson, play bigger. And I think that's important, because you're only going to rise as high as the people that you're around. And if you're the smartest guy in the room, then you need to go find a new room, because everybody's learning from you and you ain't learning from anybody but yourself. And that's the slowest way to learn. And I'm guilty of that sometimes, but you're absolutely right. And what's interesting is that a lot of these time frames, are somewhere in the 3 to 7, 8 year time range.
Yeah.
I could have very easily still been here, living in the house over the back from my in-laws, making a couple $100,000 a year. And that's, hey man, it's a nice life. But is that where you're going to have the legacy and make that impact? But okay, I digress. So we kind of got these. This is what I was looking for here, was this stuff. That helps me. I appreciate y'all. And then the last thing, and this is what Jordan brought up. our value ladder needs to follow something similar to this. Because like
several people make comments that they're going to go back and create new avatars today and over the next couple of days.
Absolutely. Robert says, I don't have enough years left to get to the lighthouse level, so we need to fast track that. Dude, you're at that level as soon as you decide to be. That's the biggest thing I've learned. You can be at any level you want as soon as you decide to be. Because you change first as a person, and then the physical world will change to reflect what's going on in your head. That's how it works. Become the man, become the woman inside, and the outside world will change to reflect that and meet you. A lot of you didn't see me 10, 12 years ago, 260 pounds. My highest recorded weight was 256 because I stopped weighing myself. I know I got way above that. I was fat Jim. And I decided on the gym boat, I was really, really sick. I was like, something's got to change. I said, I'm just going to walk 30 minutes every morning. I got up and did that, started losing some weight, started doing some push-ups, got sinus surgery, got that fixed. And when you're ready, the teacher will appear. I had outgrown all the stuff I was doing with fitness, and then I, did go rock, and I sucked at it, and it totally sucked and was a total wake-up call. But that made me want to, that was at rock bottom, and I made a decision. Okay, I can do better. And then I found Stu. The universe helped me find Stu. And, you got to decide that that's who you're going to be and how you're going to live. And when you do that, then the rest of the world will catch up. But you got to hold on to it with faith and action and belief long enough so that the outside world can catch up. And most people will catch the vision and not keep it long enough to actually achieve the result. So that's some deep stuff, Mr. Stu Smith.
No, I love it. I think our biggest enemy in this journey is just comfort. Staying on a level, that's you're comfortable. You get comfortable at these different levels, and you can either be like that horse with blinders on and just keep on chugging, and you're comfortable, or you can have a little bit of what's a good word for it? Discontent, I guess, and be looking for that second thing or that next thing that is going to help you grind through the midnight hours, on your second job of the day, to make your side gig your main gig. And those are the kind of things that take you to the next level.
The biggest enemy of great is good enough.
Yeah.
One of my early mentors had that on a sign above his desk. And I was like, what the hell does that even mean? What the hell does that even mean? Then this guy's like, that's deep. So I'm not going to be one of those people that starts referring to themselves in the third person, but I would just encourage everybody, the hardest thing you'll ever do is think. This is some of the best thinking I've ever done in my life.
I don't know, you already got the Elmo voice down. You could think of yourself in the third person.
Jim Edwards is crazy as hell. He's schizophrenic.
So, okay. Susan, that was great. And I appreciate you. I want to share, now that y'all are here, I want you to lean in. Lean in. I'm going to show you something. It's going to get you excited. All right, here we go. I'm tell you right now, that ain't ever going to get old. I'm going to make Terry watch that a whole bunch more times. I'm going to cast it to the TV. Y'all have no idea what is coming. We are going to change your life. We're going to change your future. We are going to transform everything you thought was possible for you when it comes to content and copy. Absolutely gonna change everything. So stay tuned. All right, Stu, Susan, I don't think we could have had no more amazing Jim and Stu show and Sales Copyright and Content Marketing Hacks podcast if we'd have tried on purpose.
That was a good one.
I just want to thank everybody for joining us. And just stay tuned. Appreciate you guys. Hey, Stu, if they want to get in shape, where should they go?
Stu Smith Fitness. Send me an email. You can read all about it.
That's right. And sign up for all this cool stuff from his signature. And if you want to use content to kill it, go to, can I send them there or should I wait? Can I tell them?
You can send them
tell
there. I mean,
is there can they sign up?
They can sign up, be notified when we do the next webinar.
Oh, okay. Hey, go to contentmarketingscripts.com. Sign up. Get on the list. Be notified when we do the next webinar. Hey, we ain't doing copyright and secrets today, man. That
I know. It's just something out there.
So,
it's my prop for the show.
So we appreciate y'all, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.